Temperature wise, 13 degrees with a fill of 7. It was one of the coldest sets I have been on. 7:20, I had 2 deer down at the very end of that logging road on that curve, way down there. The one I couldn't identify, it hugged the corner. Last set of the year. Welcome to Time by the Tent, another weekend here up at the land for Antlerless only Wisconsin deer weekend. I have been fortunate enough to harvest a doe and a spike buck a couple of weeks ago. I have one tag available for firearm, which I'll be using my CVA 50 caliber muzzleloader, and we are going to call it the conclusion of muzzleloader camp. It's Friday afternoon. I'm going to get the stuff out of the car and go out to the stand and hunt tonight and tomorrow, and then pack up real early Sunday morning and get home because it's Holly's birthday. We are looking at temperatures in the 17 range, and it's going to be 4 degrees tonight. Behind you, I've got the last week I put up the tarp for winterizing the tent from tarps.com. We won't be able to use the wood stove, but I do have that propane heater in the tent with a CO2 monitor, and that heater has a low oxygen shutoff, but with as much air moves around in that tent, should not be a problem. And I brought additional warming elements to make sure I am safe and not too cold or dangerous cold or in an unsafe situation, so I can get one more day of hunt out. I mean, perfect scenario would be I go out there and sit for an hour and drop a doe and bring it, butcher it out, pack it up, and close everything up and head home tonight, but we don't know how that may go. So we have had some snow. When I left last week, we had a terrible snowstorm. Dropped about a ½ inch of snow very, very quickly. And so I will get everything out of the tent, or out of the car, and get ready to go out in the woods. All right, should be out in the stand in about 15 minutes. That'll put me at about 2:15, 2:20. 17 degrees, no wind, light wind here and there, if anything. 5 degrees tonight, 28 tomorrow, 26 tomorrow night, which tomorrow night I'm just staying here. It's not crucial to the hunt. I will see you out in the deer blind. As you heard, we've got a very crunchy snow. Should be able to hear it before I see it. About 2:15 now. And hunting time's like 4:30, so we got about 2 hours and a little bit. This is the stand I'll be in tomorrow as well. And we'll see if we can get it, bring home a deer. 2 is all we're going to get for the 3:18, haven't seen anything, seen 2 squirrels, but absolutely dead quiet. A little puff of wind every now and then, but that's it. Well, my friends, didn't see anything. Had a plane fly over, a couple of squirrels, had a bunch of ravens flying around and squawking or calling or talking or whatever you want to call it. No deer. Currently, temperature wise, 13 degrees with a fill of 7, though there is no wind. it was one of the coldest sets I have been on this year. And that one morning it was -6 wind chill with a 9-degree ambient temperature. Got really cold. And I did all my hot hands and my boots and the whole deal, and layered correctly. 47 in here right now. Got the thermometer hanging on the roof with the probe chest high. Got the heater on full blast. Got the heater on full blast. I've got a link in the description below of what that heater is. It runs on propane. On a 20-pound cylinder, it will run 16 hours on high, 32 hours on medium, and 64 hours on low. And there is my probe and thermometer, 47, 48. And again, can't run the stove because we got the tarp over top of it. But this was a thing that I had prepared for. And to help assist in warmth tonight, which is sleeping bag, both of our sleeping bags here are rated for 0 degrees. Now, there's different ratings and all this other stuff, and if you're not familiar with the sleeping bag situation, if it's rated for 0, I forget, I explained this in a podcast or something one time, you won't die at 0, but you won't be comfortable at 0. Something like that. I forget what it is. There's 3 stages. Anyway, I do have, and I'll wrap this in a shirt because I don't know where the sleeve is. I think maybe I brought it. A heating pad that will run off the EcoFlow. That is courtesy of a good friend. That will run 50 watts an hour. The one we have at our house will run between 70 and 100 watts an hour. That EcoFlow is 1,092 watts. This will run 50 watts an hour. That'll keep a nice warmth inside of that sleeping bag. And then I'll also take Holly's sleeping bag, open it up, and drape it over top of me. Now, I've never ever been cold in a sleeping bag, no matter how warm it's been or how cold it's been in the tent. I've gotten up when it's been 40 degrees in the tent here, and incredibly comfortable in the sleeping bag, and then was like, whoa, this is really cold, I need to get the stove going type of situation. So that's where we're at, and I will show you when I get supper going what we're going to have. Okay, so we're still holding at 53 there. I mean, it's never going to be super, super warm, but it's taken a lot of the chill out very well. Very happy that we purchased that heater as a backup, and now with the stove being inoperable because of the tarp, great thing, and allows me to be up here one more weekend. Watching Monster Bucks 14 from 2006 copyright. I don't remember ever watching the 14. I don't have 13, so I need to find 13. Then I've got 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, I believe, and I don't have 20 or any of those. And I think, and if you're watching this and you know anything about it, I was into it and then for 18 years was out of it and now back into it. Like Monster Bucks 32 or whatever they're on now, it's online only. They don't make DVDs anymore. Is that correct? Is that my understanding? Like Realtree 360 is where you got to go and you purchase it online and you download it or something like that. Anyway, for supper, I'm having the Kingford Premier Homestyle smoked sausage. I've got to find the stove there, get that going, and then pasta salad is the plan for tonight. And I think that's pretty much going to be it. It's going to be cold tonight, 5 degrees. I think they're calling for 3 degrees. I'll go out to that stand again in the morning because that has been pretty much the hot spot. I mean, I've killed 2 out of that stand, and looking to try to harvest 1 more, and that may be, tomorrow will be it, tomorrow morning. And then I'll come in tomorrow afternoon or after the morning hunt, and I've got to get 2 more stakes and put on this side of the tent. There's 2 low spots on the tarp that I want to prop up. I've got a post hole digger over there, and I got to chisel through the ice and the soil, and once I get through that, I can go down about 6 inches and then get that put up to get a little more pressure off the tent and the tarp. It's the whole thing. That's allowing us to keep these tents up all winter long. This side over here, done perfect. The snow hits it and slides right down. Over here, because I've got a tree there and the way the cable is run, a little more of a challenge, but it should be, it should work for what we needed to work. And tarps.com is the location for anything you need tarps for. They donated the tarp. I know you're not going to do something like this on anything, but if you need any type of tarp, they have it. Poly tarps, clear tarps, camouflage tarps, thick tarps, thin tarps, they got it all. So I will show you supper whenever I get it going, and I'm probably going to have hot chocolate as well. Alright, so the home-styled smoked sausage and pasta salad, and I got hot chocolate and water for supper. And that will do it for this evening. 51 in here right now. I did turn the heater down to a level 2. If we can keep it around 50, even 45 to 50, I would be okay with it. Just to get the chill out. That front tent's like 12 degrees right now, so. So I'm trying this heat pad out, and I'm not going to put a shirt over it because I got heavy clothes on, so it's okay. Pulls 45 watts. And you know, in a warm house, you're like, oh, this is not going to do very good. But, what is it in here right now? 46. That's putting out a lot of heat. I had to drop it down to medium. I may have to go low on it. That's going to be very, very comfortable to sleep in tonight. Won't need this other sleeping bag. However, this is not a long-term solution. This is a one-night solution that will work for, since the stove is not operable because of the tarp above us. Really good deal on this 50 watts, and that's why you kind of build up your inventory. I got a power station there. I've got one here running the TV and the lights. I'll have one over here to, if I need another one, I got it, you know, I've got them all here. So you may think this is not camping, but this is permanent campsite camping. So I think that's it for tonight. I'm going to cozy up and then see you in the morning. About 7:20, I had 2 deer down at the very end of that logging road on that curve, way down there. The one I couldn't identify hugged the corner and then walked in the woods. Back over here I could see it walking away. And the other one came off the corner and then went across. None of them came up here like that Spike did a couple of weeks ago. I was able to identify the second one being the yearling that I've had on camera. But by the time I identified it, it walked across and went in the woods. There was no opportunity. I just can't, you know, if it was 2 weeks ago, I would have pulled up and tried to take a shot at it. But we're in antlerless only season, and I only have a antlerless only tag. So I can't be shooting anything that's got anything with horns more than 3 inches long. So I've got to be very careful with what I attempt. So you can see my stand. Here is where those deer came through and went up and funneled back around. There's a lot of trash between the stand and me. I don't know if I would have been able to get a shot off or not. A lot of tracks up in here. My other tree stand is right over there. So they came down that logging road and then went back over here. There's still a lot of tracks, even fresh droppings or recently droppings between me and that stand, so, or that blind. Just show you what it looked like. Made it back to camp and working on the structure of the tent, or the winterization. This side is fine. When you look at it on the right side, it's fine. I do need to maybe tweak just a little bit in there, but overall the snow's sliding off the way it's supposed to. I like it. Over here we've got more obstructions on the left hand side, so I had to go in there and put some posts there, over there. That one was there. I added 2 more down there, and I've got cups and bottles on top of them in order to keep it from piercing through the tarp when there become a snow load. It will weigh down, maybe indent it a little bit, but it will slide off. So that is looking pretty good. For the most part, nothing's really touching the tent. That side's totally clear. And then on this side here, I got to get in there and see what's going on. I do have a bracing right where that low spot is. We'll be going back out to the stand momentarily, but I did winterize the back tent. And we've got the tarp up above to shed snow off. And then we also, I have designed pillars over the summer. I went in here and measured and organized and all these pillars here where, I mean, I can hang all my weight, and I'm over 200 on this, and nothing budges. And then between each rafter, I've got it pushed up, and then I do have the framework there, pillar pushed up there, or pushed up there. I got framework on the front 2 corners. And then once I get all of my stuff out tonight, if I get one, I'll butcher it out. If I don't, then I'll go home. I've got all my stuff close to the front, and then I've got pillars, 3 in the front tent, and then I've got this framework that I put up on one of the hottest days of the year on this frame here to tie the 2 tents together. So I've done everything I can to winterize the tent without having to take it down, and taking it down is an absolute pain on the 10 by 12, and it would just multiply by time and a half on the big tent here with all the stuff. I've taken the mattress, put the mattress pad on, and then I'll take the power station. I'll unplug that and get that out of here. Just want to leave it on so you could see what we've got going on. Each one of these are notched according to the length that I measured when I did put them in. And then there's nothing above the bed, but that's almost dead center. The wire or the cable is almost dead center above this, so there should be no major concern with that. I'm not concerned with it, but we're not sure what may come. Alright, so that's all taken care of. And I will see you back out in that stand to see if we can harvest one. Otherwise, we'll call it good. Just a few minutes before 2 o'clock. Legal hunting time ends 4:40, last set of the year. Doing the numbers, last year I hunted a month less and put 72 hours in the stand and got 3 deer, spike buck, button buck, because it was an antlerless, less than 3 inches, and then 7-point with a gun. The spike was with the bow and the button buck was with the gun. This year, got that doe with a shotgun. Got the spike buck with a shotgun 4 days apart from this blind. And total, I never drew the bow back at all. I'm around 123 hours of set time. And during bow season we had them on camera, but nothing existed when we were up here on the property. So I can't imagine that I spooked that kind of amount of deer out. Because the deer would come like Monday morning at 7 o'clock, Wednesday afternoon at 3, Friday afternoon at 2, you know, that type of thing. We'd get an occasional deer on camera overnight while I was on the property. That's why I sat on this stand that morning. I got that spike buck because I had activity. Now this morning again I had that, what I identified was a yearling, and probably it was the big doe, and they were just way too far, and you saw how much trash was down there that I would have to shoot through if I was able to get a shot. So we'll see what happens in the next 2 hours and 40 minutes. They're calling for 15 to 25 mile-an-hour wind gusts. It's kind of calm. 27 feels like 16. There is wind, but it's not 15 to 27 miles an hour, or 15 to 25. Now it's calming back down. It'll pick back up in pockets. So maybe those deer will come back. Now in this area right here, when I walked down there and showed you this morning, there was deer droppings right there that had been there for, well, since the snow when they had frozen. Of course, anything you touch freezes. So that's 35 yards. If I can get something right there, boy, we're in good shape. I'll harvest an antlerless deer with the CVA muzzleloader 50 cal. Well, my friends, that's going to do it. That's going to conclude, for me, the 2024 Wisconsin deer season. Bow, firearm, muzzleloader, and the late season antlerless only. There is several more weeks of archery available, but I will not partake in that. Well, that appears to be all for deer, or for muzzleloader camp 2024. Did all we could and wound up empty-handed. So we will did get 2 deer this year, so very happy with that. So that being said, we'll take the sign down and try again next year. I'm going to head back to the tent, pack everything up in the wagon, put it in the car, and head home, and Peaceful Pines will rest for the next 16-ish weeks until we return in late March, early April. And at that point, it'll be time for turkey camp. So what's in the video here, let's put end, E-N-D. For those who have made it to the end of the video, put it in the comments below so I know you've made it this far, as it is the end of deer season for me. Certainly appreciate you coming along, liking, subscribing, commenting, and until next time, I'll see you then.